roll into Meningie. And a sign pops up into view. Coorong Mullet for sale. Coorong Mullet. My God, what is that? It sounds like a bad Port Adelaide haircut or something bobbing around at the end of an ocean outfall. That phrase needed a context. So, at the first chance, an inquiry was made. Obviously, being mullet, it was a local fish species. But where I had come from, mullet is regarded as the fish that just rates above carp in terms of severe culinary avoidance. A very quick Google on the witless net and the phrase culinary delicacy popped up. Now I thought this must be put to the test. So, the problem was, where do you find a feed of Coorong mullet on the shores of Lake Albert? Easy. There is but one place to try Coorong mullet, and it is here. There is no better place at dusk to watch the lake gradually washed in subtle colours. So, sipping on the micro-brewed lager, which I'm happy to say was one of the most pleasing drops to consume from that endless menu of micro-brewed beers I had sampled along the Victorian South Australian coastal drive. Remember, we are professional coastline assessors. But I'm still thinking fishing, and how disappointing it had been. The complete lack of it so far on this road trip. Sitting and sipping, I turned and raised the question to a knowledgeable and very personable local. And I received an invitation to go fishing for Coorong mullet. Yippee! Ha! Meet in the car park in half an hour. I'll get my rod. What lures or bait will I need? A catch. So Coorong mullet is a species with me having a chance of catching them rating at Collingwood winning a grand final. Not impossible using a rod, but very unlikely. Which begs the question of how the hell do you get them from the lake to the plate? Peter, my new best fishing buddy of about 10.5 minutes, clearly states, "That's not a problem. Just bring yourself, you don't need any gear." At last a chance to catch fish, finally. Bugger the beer and the view and the hospitality. I scamper back to the car to grab a quick change and meet Peter in the car park. Fishing ho! Which was actually Fishing Pro. For Peter was a licensed local professional fisherman. And just as a farmer brings his or her produce from the paddock to the plate, I was going to witness a licensed fisherman bringing his produce from the lake to the plate. And in terms of human society, this is a somewhat timeless form of fishing. So we arrive at the launch site. I clamber into the boat. Peter gets everything ready, and away we went.
You realise that's just going to be the best gag. This is how we start the boat in South Australia.
Once we were at one of Peter's favourite spots, he dropped down one end of the net, then laid out the net over the front of the boat as we reversed, dropped down the other end, and then we went into circle work mode, South Australian style. He would circle the net in order to scare the fish into the net. But it's a body of water dotted with a complex maze of rock reefs that are just below the surface. To avoid them, Peter needs to remember where they all are. A memory lapse and we could be airborne and spiralling towards a spectacular splashdown. Or the rear of the boat could be ripped off. So he hurtled through the eyes of many needles with nonchalant aplomb. However, the captain's confidence did not extend to the crew. Being at the front of the boat, imagining death-dealing reefs skimming past, well, it seemed to me like doing a Rubik's Cube with a blindfold on. Coorong mullet live on some form of weed and mudworms. Immersed in a body of water with such a high salt content, it is virtually brine, and it becomes the temperature of a cup of salty tea during the height of summer.
They're a much better looking fish than your normal sea mullet. Oh, they do. The yellow-eye mullet they look edible. Sea mullet to me, you know, we get them, when you get them, they're prolific. They're like sparrows up along the east coast of New South Wales in the rivers and estuaries. And they don't smell and look like a fish you'd want to eat.
So the fish live in a unique combination of environmental elements, and this creates the somewhat piquant, you can look that word up, flavour of the Coorong mullet. It is a flavour that rises above the banal, but still wonderful, taste of fish shop fish. An analogy? Well, you have box wine, then you have a rare vintage with a crackingly unique taste in terms of wine. That is the only way to describe the taste of Coorong mullet. I don't know why, but I thought it had an element of the flavours of fresh New South Wales Taylor or Luderick combined with the essence of oysters. Like it or not, it is a culinary adventure and a compulsory must-try. And a must-try at this venue especially. Also, say hi to Peter from me.